What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Celtic Warrior James.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the RWC. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, episode 1. Thank you, Marv, for your fantastic opening with me today for Thursday Night Chaser as we talk about the impact of Trinity. I got Miss Amanda Jane. How's it going, Miss Amanda Jane?
Hello. Marv is a little excited.
Yeah, Marv's high energy.
Was he feeling the glow?
He got glowed up.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's what I thought.
That's why he's green, because of the glow. He's Naomi coat green.
I thought her coat was yellow.
I thought it was green. That new shirt, if you go to Impact Shop, Impact, whatever, she's got a new shirt already. We'll get into that. We're going to talk about it.
You're shilling Impact.
I'm shilling Impact.
Kiro would
Pretty
be proud.
excited. We watched MLW. We watched Impact. We watched Rosemary's Diary. And
I watched AEW.
You watched AEW and you enjoyed it. So it's good. It's a good reason to drink. I didn't watch AEW and loved every second of that. It's good. Let's start with something simple, easy. Let's start with a little bit of what's in your glass.
Uh-oh, what is that?
I'm having, because I'm political, because it was on clearance, Bud Light Next. It's a keto beer. They don't say it's keto, right? They don't tell you that, but like when you look at it, it's got 0 carbs, 0 sugars. Or 1 carb? Is that what it is? No, 0 carbs. 0 carbs, 0 sugars.
It looks like it's NXT brand beer.
That's what I'm saying. It also looks like it's NXT branded beer.
2.0-ish. If it were black and gold, it would be black and gold.
No, but it's a Bud Light version. It's like Bud Light meets NXT on clearance. Couldn't be happier. So I can have it because it's keto.
You should ask Cardona if he's tried the NXT beer because he's a Bud Light man.
Is he?
Remember Bud Light Lime?
He was PBR for a while there because they sponsored his podcast.
They still are, but I'm taking it back to Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo.
In
The
Long
original
Island, he did Bud Light
Long Island,
Limes.
the Long Island story. Yeah.
Hmm.
Bud Light Limes. Nasty
Hmm.
beer.
I wasn't a big fan of Bud Light Lime. It was all right. I have a DJ buddy who like that was it when it was out. That's what he was drinking like all the time.
Yuck.
Like that
Well,
was
I'm
his
drinking
drink.
root beer, and I have regular Coke. So you have the NXT beer,
You
and
got
I'll
the
have
AEW
the
beer.
AEW beer. There we go.
You did it.
We did it. The two shows we're not watching.
Yeah, it only took us to stop watching the shows to start promoting it.
Who would have thought? But I did drink I watched the AEW beer thing. That's a total sponsored, not sponsored moment.
Yeah, but you could talk about real briefly. There was a match you said that was really good and I should check out. I was definitely not going to be able to watch it before we went on, but do you want to talk about that one match before we talk about other stuff?
Yeah. So most of you probably already know what match I'm going to talk about. And it actually was, and I'm not saying this because I enjoy Ricky Starks. I also do like Juice Robinson, but they finally had their match.
You've been big on Juice for a while.
And it was pretty damn good. And I think on commentary, they were a little blown away with how good it kind of was, because I don't think they were expecting that. So it only further proved my point that Ricky Starks should take some time. They should get some time in Japan. Only proves my point. Just because Juice as a performer, I saw him when, he wasn't, before he went to Japan. And if you ever look at some of his stuff, like I saw him on the indies, but then if you ever look at his stuff, like when he was CJ Parker in NXT, kind of generic-y. And I think that, it's really formed to who he is. And I think that might be good for Ricky. But we'll say it was a pretty damn good match. Once again, Jay White came out dressed like Ricky. I thought that was hilarious. He came in like white linen pants with a white like lace shirt and a t-shirt, and like a black tank top underneath and like I guess a necklace of some sort and the sunglasses. Totally making fun of Ricky. I think that's the best part of the feud because Jay White is such the perfect asshole. Always been a Jay White fan. So I think we are probably either they're going to get Jay White and Ricky in Austin. If they don't do it there, it'll be at Double or Nothing. But I have a feeling or maybe they'll cut Ricky will cut another huge promo in Austin like he did with MJF. I don't know. But all I know is that you should check that match out, people. It's not because I like Ricky Starks. It's because it was actually a really good match.
Yeah. Did you see also they it seems like it was an official thing. They got rid of Dark and Dark Elevation.
Yes, they did. So rest in peace, YouTube Wrestling. I know that some people aren't a fan. That was the only way I could watch some people that, I liked. So,
see, that was actually my big concern about it. I never watched it. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't like it when I did watch it. So I'm not trying to say how could it go away? But my other thought was there's so much talent there that doesn't get TV time. And there's a lot of talent there that only got dark time. So if I wanted to dig up somebody's matches, it was going to be through that. There was a long time Ricky was just strictly on dark. How are you going to have people learning? How are they going to get better? How are you going to give them time to learn your system if there's no dark elevation? So I'm a little nervous you might see even less of people who we don't see much now already. I mean, I don't see it at all, but I'm just saying the fans, they're missing people,
Yeah. I mean, if I wanted to say, hey, let me see Sunny Kiss would be on a random dark elevation,
Yes.
Yep. And it's kind
Danny
of
Jordan's entire AEW career was on dark. She's back to wrestling, by the way, which is cool.
Yeah. And then I'll tell you, other people, there's a lot of other people too. It's like that was their thing. So it made me wonder because other person who announced that they were leaving AEW was Leva Bates. And Leva, I mean, yeah, she did a lot of things backstage, but she also did wrestle quite a bit on those two programs. So it's either that I don't know.
I wonder if she did a lot more backstage specifically for Dark and Dark Elevation than we realized. Because I know she was doing stuff backstage, and people have always talked about how much she did behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But I thought she was more involved in the video game. Oh, no, that's Aubrey.
That's Aubrey. That bitch is in everything. She needs to stop.
There's that. But I have heard a number of times that Leva did a lot backstage, and so I wonder if she was more closely involved with Dark and Dark Elevation than we realize the rest of the company.
Maybe that could be it. That could be a possibility. And then they did hire some. I don't know. It was an interesting thing that Tony Khan announced the hiring of some dude that does like media.
Oh,
and,
Will Washington. He's from Fightful.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, you know what's funny about that? Like, I think it's really cool, and I'm excited for him. And someone brought up a point that he might be. I mean, it's hard to say most powerful and not make it sound like weird, but he's got power there now, right? He's got pull, he's got influence. He might be the most powerful black man in wrestling right now because of how high he is in the AEW hierarchy of decision making, which is kind of cool. If that's true, awesome. I mean, I don't know the ins and out of all that stuff, but if that's true, that's really cool. But it's really cool, and kind of the funny bit to me is, I love that. That's so great. The funny part is we've talked about before. A lot of these newsletter sites, a lot of these dirt sheet sites, a lot of these journalist types, a lot of them people have accused for a long time of angling for jobs. And they've all said, no, never, right? Here's a very clear path that actually opens up that conversation to, that's absolutely what's happening. Because a lot of people said, you know, especially when it was like WWE shows like us. I shield WWE, I like WWE. It's what I talk about, right? If anyone was like, hey, he's trying to get a job at WWE, well, I'm no Sam Roberts. I don't have a broadcasting background. I don't have a platform like he has. So, no, I don't believe for a second that WWE is going to see me on YouTube and say, we want him to run one of our podcasts. No, I don't see that. There's a lot of things I can do specifically that could lend me to get hired by them, but nothing I'm doing here is that thing necessarily. Production maybe, but I do more production for others. But here's somebody in the Fightful landscape that was always being accused of angling for jobs with AEW specifically, that now landed a significant role in AEW. Now you can say and point at and say, see, it works, whether that's true or not. Because, I mean, that narrative is just going to be there. Whether he ever was angling for a job there, from what I remember seeing, his name, I don't remember ever feeling like he was super slighted or saying things that were outrageous or how could he say this or he's definitely angling or something like that, like you see some people say. But he did just now go through a career path that allowed him to take a large role in that company. So now anyone who's being accused of that and says that's just nothing that's ever happened, well, you can't say that. That's definitely something that's happened. The closest you can get that with WWE is, I think, Ryan Satin, because he started with like the Pro Wrestling Sheet, and he got brought in by Fox. And then because of this Pro Wrestling Sheet, while working for Fox, they slid him into the wrestling area. And so it all kind of went that way. And WWE didn't have a problem with him because he never talked shit on them. So you could say that one worked that way. So you could say both ways. But it's just kind of interesting. It's kind of neat. I think it's cool, but it's also kind of fun because then it kind of lends to the conversation of maybe there is more avenues than people realize.
Well, it's kind of funny to me, but I think it's very coincidental that because in the last few weeks, Uncle Dave and
Alvarez, they've been pretty rough on him.
Yeah, they've been getting like beat up on about the whole thing, with rightfully so, because sometimes, those two say a lot of things that stir the pot. And of course, this is my own opinion, but, so I don't know. Will it control things? I don't know. But it's very interesting. Now, my opinion with Ryan Satin, because obviously most people know where Ryan Satin was working before all of this. He worked for TMZ. Mm-hmm. And so granted that's another, pro wrestling and that, very, very similar in in whatever. But Ryan, at least with Ryan, unlike some of the other ones that are out there, at least with Ryan, he wasn't on a high horse, either you liked him or you didn't, but he kept it in the middle. And a lot of these guys don't. See, that's why I like Hausman. Hausman keeps it in the middle,
Yeah, and to be honest, a lot of interactions that I've even seen, maybe not even personally had, but a lot of interactions I've even witnessed or had have been really negative for a lot of those people who feel like they hold a certain power. Where I could easily, honestly, I've met Ryan Satin a couple of times. I've worked with Nick Hausen before. I still do stuff for him for his new site. Like, I've had nothing but positive interactions with those guys.
Yeah.
I've had and seen really negative interactions from others that you just kind of go like, it's a whole genre. I don't want to be a part of it.
I will say this. I've been to shows where I've known Ryan Satin a long time from seeing him at PWG and other wrestling shows, right? And then his fiance. And I've been to shows where fucking I sat next to fucking Uncle Dave. I hate sitting next to him, by the way. People love it. And I'm like, he's boring as fuck.
Does he not talk much?
No, well, I don't want to interact with him.
I would at
because
least.
I'm like, I'm enjoying my shit. Don't like kill my vibe, okay?
If I'm sat next to Meltzer, but then I guess at the same time, I've been listening to a ton of Meltzer from 30 years ago, so I probably have a lot more questions than most would. I wouldn't be all like, "What do you think of this AEW thing?" I'd be like, "Hey, remember in '92 when this happened?" You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, he would love you to death and just and you talk your ear off, you know. But like with me, I'm like, you're killing my buzz, Dave. You're killing my buzz. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this isn't the Tokyo Dome. It's the Pacelli Gymnasium in Daly City. What do you expect, bro? What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's one of those things. But then I've seen other people at events and things like that. Like I've seen a lot of these dudes. They walk around like their shit doesn't stink. Hi, Sean Rossap. How you doing?
Oh, yeah,
and I'm like, you're why are you're kind of an ass.
Yeah.
Even what's her face? I'm like, girl, I don't know. It's because you're cute. You got pretty far. I'm not a fan of Denise Salcedo. I will say that. I will say that to her face. I'm not a fan. You know, just because you're.
I mean,
cute
I hear
and
nice
giggly.
things about her most of the time. I've never
I'm like,
I've
you're
never
cute and
interacted
giggly.
with her. I saw her at a GCW show once, but I never talked to her. So
they let her ring announce once.
Yeah.
I said, Janela, why can't I ring announce? Come on now.
John Alba. I met John Alba at WrestleCon, and he was really cool to me. Like, we talked for a little bit, and he was cool. So, I don't know. That's enough about all the dirt sheets. Yeah, there's some cool people. There's some not cool people. For Will Washington that he was able to get into a much bigger, prominent position.
No, but there was someone else besides Will, too, that Tony Khan tweeted about. I have to look it up. And then
that's the one I remember. I'll see if I can see.
Yeah. Obviously, we're not dirt sheets. A dirt sheet.
No, but we do make up rumors. So.
We do make up rumors, and we do book shows, which, by the way, I do want to say, Marsh, you are still booking. This show is still booking AEW. It's more on with you, not me.
Are you talking about Roderick Strong? He's the only one I saw tweeted outside of that.
Yeah. We were taught we said he was going to go and he's going to team up with freaking Adam Cole Bay, and everyone thinks it's going to be the fucking Undisputed Era, again. And I'm like, no, because Bobby Fish.
We're doing the Fatal 4-Way thing, but man,
I'm like, boring. Yeah. Just like the Atlantic champion, boring. I think that's what's going to happen. I think I'm calling this now. I think Jay White will become the Atlantic champion. And will beat Orange Cassidy. I have a feeling that's going to be the way it goes. And I think because they need to give Jay White something to give him prominence, or else I don't know, because it's a waste of. It's a big waste of Jay White, but
Yeah.
But we have birthdays.
Yeah, let's do some birthdays, and then we'll talk some of the shows, and then we want to watch one match. So I don't want us to get too bogged down with too much stuff because there's a lot.
You got it. So speaking of the Atlantic champion, happy birthday, Orange Cassidy! It's your birthday today. He turns. There we go. He actually
freshly squeezed.
Here's a bit of trivia. I didn't know he's turning 39 today.
Orange Cassidy's 39?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I'm like, what? Yeah, so he's turning 39. Oh, happy birthday. Also today, speaking of birthday boys and AEW, hi, Hook. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I don't know how old he is. He's young.
Yeah. He's in his 20s.
Yeah, that's the cougar in me calling that out. Dakota Kai's having a birthday. Happy
Ooh.
birthday. Also, Dewdrop, Piper Niven. Happy birthday.
Well, she's
Yeah.
she's officially back to Piper Niven. She's no longer Dewdrop.
Oh, is she back to Piper Niven? Oh, good. Piper Niven, happy birthday. You know who else is having a birthday since we were watching Impact?
Mm.
And her birthday's today, actually. Kylan King. Happy birthday.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I was like, very, very cool. This we have a lot of cool ones. Helico, happy birthday. Tommaso Ciampa, happy birthday. Look at this. It's a damage control. It's a whole damage control birthday.
Really?
Because Io's got her birthday. There's actually all NXT people's.
Yeah.
Axiom, happy birthday.
Oh,
Yeah. William Regal, happy birthday.
Regal.
And I'll be nice. Okay, I'll be nice. I've been debating in my head. Oh, actually, before I say that, happy birthday to Tonka Loa. So glad that Tama Tonga's brother is going to be back up and active in New Japan. I want to see Gorilla of Destiny come back. Speaking of New Japan, I'm going to be nice. Okay, because I'm going to put good karma out into the world. Happy birthday, Ocean Spray.
How about that?
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
And he's turning 30.
30?
He's turning 30.
Isn't that crazy too? Like he's turning 30 and he's been wrestling for like 11, almost 12 years. And he's just said that this might be his last run because of his last injury took such a big toll on him.
Oh,
like how do you be 30 and injure yourself that much? Like I
can tell you.
Yeah.
It's him, Darby Allin, Guevara, all those guys. It's the uncontrolled flippy shit that they do. It's injury prone. The only one who, and I'll say this, and if I'm wrong, please someone fact check me. But Ricochet has never had an injury quite like these guys. Like when you have Guevara who says that his head looks like a map, like a road map.
That's rough.
Because of all the stitches and everything. That's really sad, I mean, but then when you look at people like Rey Mysterio, but Lucha Libre is a little different than the flippy shit.
It's just way different, yeah.
It is way different. There's an etiquette and a courtesy and whatever that, is kind of there. I mean, I can use him as an example. Jushin Thunder Liger, another great example. But when you do that style of wrestling, it's you have to change your style, and that's what Ocean Spray did, kind of, sort of. But he's still almost going to be on the shelf. God, that day it happens, I'm drinking champagne, and I thought, here I am trying to talk about putting good karma in the world. God, what am I doing?
You just took away.
But anyways, happy birthday, Will Ospreay. Look, I said his name.
You did.
I said his name. Series.
I am going to be in. Was it going to be 2-3 weeks? The NJPW Resurgence in Long Beach on the 21st. I'm going to be there, so if anybody's around, come say hi. Can
you boo him once for me, like a big?
I wouldn't cheer him with or without you. I wouldn't cheer for.
Oh, thank you. Cheer extra loud.
Not cheer for him.
Boo extra loud. He's wrestling Tanahashi with the okay hair. It's not good hair anymore. He's passed the torch to Yuya Yamura. When I saw Yuya's hair on the Jericho Cruise, I was like, that's Tanahashi hair in his prime. Holy crapola. But anyways, now there are 2 birthdays that are special. So I say them now.
Go ahead.
Okay. One of them is a favorite of ours, and he's a champion currently. So, happy birthday to Kevin Owens Steen.
All right.
Yes. He is turning 38. 39. Wait, Orange Cassidy turned 40. Oh, shit.
Oh, Orange Cassidy's 40 now?
Yeah, he's 40 now. Sorry, I messed up. I don't know how to add. So, Kevin Owens is 39. Yeah. And that's kind of awesome. So happy birthday. Yeah, and then finally, no birthday of someone I really, really love is going to go unmentioned without a special big to-do. So I'm wearing the shirt because it's that time. Happy birthday. Well, you can't see it. I hate these things. Happy birthday, Colt Cabana. May you, yes, may you get the gift of Amazon, which I'm sending you an Amazon gift card. Uh, as I normally do give him something for his birthday, but he's been good. So I will send him a birthday gift. But happy birthday, Colt Cabana. And we're doing something special on our podcast. So stick around.
Yeah.
And it's about, yep. Thanks, Marv. Yep. It's all about the two birthday boys.
L'chaim.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's run through some of these shows. Did you watch MLW?
Yes, I did.
So MLW. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of Impact. MLW was pretty solid. It opened up with Hammerstone. I mean, it had like a promo segment with Alex Kane.
Mm-hmm.
I
was shocked, but then again,
doing the Boombaye thing, because that Boombaye thing is I mean, I think it really ended up in pop culture because of Muhammad Ali when he went to went to Africa to the fight. It's neat that he's running with that, and he was doing that whole Boombaye is for the people. I think that segment went a little long. He was really walking around and milking that for a little too long for my taste, but it was still pretty cool. And the fact that they got Hammerstone to come out and do a match against Mr. Thomas was a pretty solid match. I really liked it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you know what? You and I are both Hammerstone people.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, I love watching Hammerstone. I miss seeing him on the indies, because I would see him like once or twice a month. But it was very, very solid. I'm really impressed with the collection of people that are on MLW.
Yeah, they have a solid crew down there. I mean, Jacob Fatu coming out, Juicy and Lance and Hawaii, they're the tag champions right now, and they had a match. It was sick.
That tag team, the main event, I was impressed. I'd never heard of them before. I was really impressed. That was a good little match that they had.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were tagging because I saw when they won the tag championships. I just didn't see that show. But as soon as they said they were paired together to do it, I was like, that's cool. That is a good group. They're both really good. So then being able to see them do this match, I was really excited. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
The only issue I had with the beginning part was was it the Coven? Is that the name of Raven's crew?
No, wait, hold on. I almost called them the design. It's the
design. That's Impact. Oh wait,
the one with
Coven is the other one.
Page and Raven.
The Calling.
The Call. Yeah.
The Calling.
The Coven is the women Impact. Yeah.
Yeah. The Calling. They use strobe lights for so long, it's hard for me to watch. It starts to make me dizzy.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I could do a little less of that. But the group is great. Yeah, I really like this one too. I mean, Becca and Brittany Blake. I don't think I think my biggest gripe I'm having right now with Impact and MLW both is their characters are characters. Like, they are so gimmicky. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't feel like if they're either Hammerstone and Jacob Fatu that come off as like legit as it gets, or they're Becca, this fake pop star, or PCO being Frankenstein's monster, or Rosemary going into the underworld, like, and doing magic. Like, it's just like the dichotomy between the two. Like, we've talked about it, and I enjoy Bray Wyatt. Even he's done things where I've been like, okay, that's a little much. But we've always talked about how Bray's been kind of in his own bubble most of the time. There's a lot of normal things happening and then supernatural things happen in a bubble. These seem like so outrageously cartoonish characters on both ones. It's either very real and easy to get into, or such a cartoon that it's kind of indie-rific, kind of VFW, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like drags it a little bit for me. Like, I thought Becca and Brittany had a good match, but the whole international pop star thing I was over with way longer before they actually did finish her intro thing. I was like, okay, I'm done with that. Move on.
Yeah. And I don't know. They only have like what 4 women who are on the roster, 5 maybe.
MLW has a pretty light women's division. They could use
When you're,
people.
you know, and I'm only saying this because the 4, and I've never seen Delmi Exo wrestle, so I have no idea.
But she looked really familiar. Do we know who she is?
I don't know who she is. But when you've got, I had only seen Becca once, and it was at Effie's big gay brunch in LA. And even then I was like, this is a really shitty character. Girl needs to work on her character. But I'd never seen Brittany Blake. And the only woman I've seen besides Taya is Mandy Leone. And Mandy has gotten a lot better than she used to be. But I'm like, it's actually women's division. And Taya's going away. Ooh. So
she was a knockout tag team champion in 2020. Maybe that's where I recognize her from.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. And she was the first MLW women's featherweight champion, defeating Taya Valkyrie.
Oh.
That happened last month. Oh, all right. Well, maybe that's why I recognize her. Is just maybe I saw those pictures go around at the time. But yeah. I liked her interview.
Mm-hmm. She had a good interview.
The demo interview was good.
Yeah.
The John Hennigan versus Jacob Fatu did not take place because the whole angle in the beginning. But God, I can't wait for Hennigan versus Fatu. That's going to be so good.
Yeah, I was sad because I like both of them.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, so very interesting. But like, when I look at the roster, like right now, I'm taking a peek at it, and like a lot of the men, it's like Jesus, they have a pretty stacked roster.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Have you seen Matthew Justice before? He must have. He probably was wrestling when you went to GCW.
Matthew Justice. What did he do that night? What did he do yesterday?
He probably climbed on something. It wasn't the match where you held the ladder. It wasn't that one. But
no, but I'm saying like
I know.
Let me look at a picture of him and tell you.
He's like really tall, white guy, long hair. Looks.
He doesn't look that familiar.
Yeah. I think if you saw Matthew Justice, you'd be, oh, I know who that guy is.
I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He does not look that familiar.
No, but like wrestling. If you saw him wrestling, you'd be, oh, I know. Yeah. Sometimes I look at pictures of these people and I'm like, I don't know what they look. I don't know. But then when I see them wrestle, I'm like, oh, it's that guy. Oh, okay, that girl. Oh, yeah.
He was in WWE for a year when I wasn't watching, but
yeah,
back in 2010.
I saw him when he first started wrestling. It's really good. I love him. Love him. He's great.
He was tag champion with Mance Warner.
Yeah. Was he there at MLW?
At GCW.
Second Gear Crew? SGC?
No, GCW.
Yeah, GCW. Yeah. Second Gear Crew. Yeah. But he's injured now. Yeah. They were the Defy champions, or still are. I can't remember. But yeah, no. But exciting.
So I wonder if I saw him then. So I think I was there when he dropped the title.
If you saw Manser and he was tag teaming, then you did.
That's what I mean. Is I'm pretty sure I saw Manser lose a tag team match. One of the GCW matches I went to. So yeah. I
like Manser. He's good people.
But that's kind of more or less MLW.
Yeah. Also with MLW, I want to give a big congrats, well deserved, to Leo Rush, who's going to be in Best of the Super Juniors this year. They announced the card last week. I didn't know that, and I finally saw the card. I'm impressed. A lot of really good people. A lot of people left out. But I think that it's going to be good. We've got Speedball Mike Bailey's on there, Leo Rush, of the Gaijin that are on there. I mean, those are ones that stand out. There's some that I'm like, huh? But other than that, no. So big congratulations to Leo. He's got, I think A Block looks fantastic. That one's hard to pick a winner out of it because, I mean, he's in a group with like Hiromu Takahashi, Taiji Ishimori, that guy, god damn it, I see his face. Not Show is in there. Um, God, they're all in the same thing. But oh yeah, TJP. Oh, yuck. Anyways, but that's a really good the side that side's pretty good. B, it's probably easier to pick out who it's going to be because it's kind of as far as that goes. But it always is, I think, one of the best tournaments of the year, partial to that, but there were some notable absences in it, so that'll be very interesting. So, and also because of who was on it, I also think that it'll be interesting when they do the Super Junior show in Philly in June. That'll be an interesting one too.
All right.
So thumbs up.
Sounds good. MLW goes fast though. It's a quick show, good watch. I did think it was a little weird. They showed like the last 10 minutes of the Battle Royal too.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. I was like, all right, you guys only are running for an hour maybe, and we saw of that hour because I watched it the next day because it wasn't live when I turned on when I thought it was supposed to be on. But I was like, that was only really a half an hour show then, because when you add in that 10 minute, almost 10 minutes of, the Battle Royal, you're like, okay.
It might have even been longer than that. I just started fast forwarding through until I got to the
because I was like,
I saw this.
They had a lot of recap. That's what I felt like that whole most of the show was like recap from that.
Yeah.
So that was the only complaint I had about it, was there was a lot of replay from the event.
Yeah, but that's got to be because when they're doing their tapings, they do like their pay-per-view type deal, and then they'll like how NWA did, and then they'll film for like 2 days of stuff. They're piecing it all together because how much can you use and how much let's replay this, and that they're just trying to make. I think they're trying to get an extra hour of show outside of what they filmed, and so we'll do this recap on this one, we'll do a recap on another one, like that kind of stuff. They're drawing it out. Impact tonight. Watched it live. Very excited. We talked about it last week. Trinity was rumored to be making her appearance, and she did. What I loved about just the idea that she was going to be is that, for one, the tapings happened like a couple days ago, and we knew it. So everyone already had pictures. Trinity's out. Trinity's here. Look at her entrance. All this stuff, right? Everyone knew because it was already out. So they obviously knew everyone would know. They had already leaked that. I think they intentionally leaked to the Meltzers and such to say that she's expected to be there, so that way they could show on here post editing. I thought they do all their commentary live, right? Or do they go back and tape over some of it?
I thought they did it live.
I think so too, because they were talking about how everyone knew that she was coming. So I think that was part of the whole gig, is that they were going to not be hiding it. So throughout the show, every single commercial break had a graphic of her or a shot of her door, and it had something that said, still to come, stay tuned, Trinity's coming, Trinity's here, Trinity with a live mic, Trinity's going to be talking. They gave her the Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns treatment. We have a big name, and she's closing the show, and you don't want to miss it. You know what I mean? And they didn't say that it was closing at first. They just said still to come. So you go, oh, maybe it's next. Oh, they showed the door. Maybe it's next. Like, no. They're stringing you along, and I thought that was so smart.
They do that well.
It was cool to give her that treatment, to give her that. I mean, how many times was she on SmackDown even where it was just all of a sudden she was there? You know what I mean? Yeah. Here's one like, you guys won't believe who we have here. We have Trinity. Can you believe it? Like, they made it a big deal. It is awesome.
Yeah, but I will say, if I were a promoter or owner, whatever they call them, booker of a promotion, and I got someone who obviously is very well sought after, I would have done it when they were making their debut. I would have done it the way Impact did it, because it's a big deal. Really big and it gets that viewer excited for, like, ooh. And when you get the viewers that are excited, they have to sit through whatever. So majority of that was really quality. There were some things I was like, oh, that's awful, which we'll get into. But I think it was well played. And it makes me look at some of the ones that AEW had, and I'm like, that's kind of garbagey,
Well, let's talk
And
about that and just the difference of it, right? So AEW leans very heavy on the surprise. They almost never say, we're going to have this person here. They're debuting tonight. We're going to give them a mic. They always want the lights to go out and then they appear. The lights go out and then their music hits. You know what I mean? They always want something that makes people go, oh, shit, somebody's here. Who is it? And then let's read their graphics, read the thing. Oh, it's Roderick Strong. Woo! And then they kind of downplay after that because then now here comes Roderick Strong or here comes Jay White to attack Ricky Starks, who's doing jack shit. I mean, he's having good matches, but what is he doing, right? We're bringing in someone who's a big deal and we're treating them like a big deal. We want you to know they're here. Like, the presentation on this one was so cool. And I'm not saying that you should never do the surprise ones because I think that's also cool. And matter of fact, last week or 2 weeks ago, Impact at Rebellion, they did it at Rebellion. They had a surprise return of Nick Aldis. They didn't announce it. They didn't tell anybody. His music hit, his graphic came up, and he walked out and then sat on commentary. You know what I mean? So it's not to say that never, but it is to say that, hey, sometimes being really open about what you have and who you have also works really well, And sometimes making it a surprise has bit you in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think too that it's funny because now knowing what I kind of witnessed when I went to Supercard of Honor in LA, where when she was put in the front row, kind of almost like as a plot, and there was a lot of camera footage that they were filming of her too. That because I was sitting right there, I was sitting behind her, like literally 2 rows behind her. And no, 3 rows behind her. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be something big. And I kind of then thought, because they really didn't on the show after I saw it, they really didn't make too much ado of it. I don't know if she had gone to also, was in talks with Tony Khan. That I don't know. But it was very interesting because they had put her in and set her up as if there was something that was going to happen. Well, so I think Tony must have let it go through his fingers.
I think that's exactly what happened because I think that she's done a couple of interviews too, and she said there was offers from all over the place. She could have gone almost anywhere she could have wanted to go, but she picked Impact on purpose. Like, it wasn't the only offer. And I see, there's always going to be people online back though. If you really had offers from everywhere, why would you go to Impact, right? Like, Impact does have low viewership. They don't have a massive fan base. They do have a pretty dedicated fan base. But what they do have that AEW does not is a really strong women's division that gets portrayed as a strong women's division, right? AEW's got stronger and stronger women every week, it seems, but they're not being portrayed that way and they're not getting the time that way. I wouldn't be shocked. And from all intents and purposes, the tone of her interviews comes off as, I didn't like what I saw with the women all over the place. I like what I see with the women here. And I want to start here. I want to do something here. At least here you also have the veterans, you can go in there and work with and get taken care of. You've got Mickie James coming back at some point, that she was even talking about it in an interview. They asked specifically, do you want to face Sasha at that Impact and JPW show that's coming up? And she goes, that would be a dream. Yeah. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's going to be able to work people who she's used to working with. And when you see the landscape of Ring of Honor and AEW, like you said, different style, different people. There's not a ton there. I mean, she got to work with Paige a lot, but Paige works differently now.
Yeah.
She didn't get to work with Tony Storm, I don't think, at all.
No.
Ruby,
maybe Ruby Soho.
Yeah, Ruby Soho. So I'm just saying there's probably a level of comfortability that she's going to have an impact. And it's not like AEW's going away. AEW's doing really well. They just sold 50,000 tickets to Wembley. It's great.
Yeah. But also, with the women, when you see what AEW does with the women, And Impact, if I were a women's wrestler, I would be, why wouldn't I go to Impact? Because I will probably get more exposure if I go that way. And, so what if it's at the end of the day, so what if, you know, um, I'm not dragging my body out like, every week and whatnot just to go fucking sit in the back. At least this I know that I'm gonna be doing something because there's some shows. This show they only had the one women's match, but shit, there's been shows where they've had 3 or 2.
They only
And I
had one
think
women's match, but they also had 3 women's
women's
backstage
segment.
segments. No, they had
Well,
more. Well, they had because they had 3 backstage. They had the main event was an in-ring promo with women. Like
yeah.
the women were all over the show. They just
Yeah,
didn't
they
have
were
a
all
match.
over the show. Yeah. But not well with no, not wrestling. But I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
you were to look at the two, you know,
Mhm.
yeah. And it's always the same women. This one, there's different layers of it. Yes, it's all the same. Yeah, duh. But the way they weave it, you know.
And the types of matches are probably more. I don't even want to say suited, but I don't know. I'm just saying without trying to shit on AEW at all, and I know I shit on AEW a lot. I think that people are blowing off her decision to go to Impact as her only option, and I think that there's just a lot of good reasons why you would choose Impact, given the scenarios we have in front of us, right? Like you said, I wouldn't be shocked if it was like, hey, we'll bring you in AEW. We could really use you in Ring of Honor. She sat down and watched the Ring of Honor show and went, that's not really what I'm feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where she goes to an Impact show and goes, oh, there's 3 women's matches on here and they all got at least 10 minutes. Oh, the main event is a women's championship match? Like, Trinity main evented this show cutting a promo that led to the current champion and the number 1 contender coming out and the crowd chanting triple threat. They already wanted her in the title picture. You know what I mean? Which is also funny because
That's insane. Because then you get like Taya Valkyrie, who she gets the match and it's some stupid, bullshit, ending with it.
Yeah.
And it's like she's probably sitting there like, how the fuck did I sign to this shit? Or whatnot. So that's where I kind of am like, yeah, it's a smart move. But,
someone was saying, I've heard on a couple of podcasts, so like, if not Taya Valkyrie, then who are you saving the streak for? Who is going to be the one to break the streak if it wasn't going to be Taya? Like, it's kind of nuts. Oh, we got some chat
bad
here.
part,
Go ahead.
is the bad part is that it gives Jade Cargill a false set of like, of like, oh yeah, I'm a great wrestler. No, you're not. You're the boss. The cokehead boss is letting you have all these victories and look dominant. It's not that because you're that good, because you really aren't.
And she still has all that potential. It's just Jade's actually kind of in a way a sad story to me in that she is being portrayed very well.
Yeah.
But the potential for her to have a higher output is definitely there. She has so much star potential. I was talking to somebody during WrestleMania weekend, and they're all like, if I could have one woman as my star person, it would be Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill's the best. She's amazing. And I was like, yo, have you seen any of her matches? He's like, no. But her presence, her look, her everything. And I was like, she has pretty bad matches. And he goes, well, I saw like 1 or 2. They were just like 2 moves. I was like, yeah, that was the first couple. And like her 10-minute ones are not good. So like she just has so much potential because she is that grabbing and she does have that presence,
Yeah.
But not to go down that rabbit hole too much. Let's get up on chat. Christopher Willis comes in. Good evening, Marcia and Amanda. He's drinking some sparkling ice. Oh, kiwi strawberry. We just loaded up on some of that. They're berry
Remember,
lemonade.
guys, it's not about what you drink. It's about who you're drinking it with.
Yeah. Willis says, awesome t-shirt to Amanda.
I know. I wonder who got me this t-shirt.
Oh, my God. Stop it. And then Willis says, Knockouts division is better than the AEW women's division. They're definitely portrayed that way. They're definitely treated that way. Like you see, it's reflected that way in the way the TV time is given. I'm in one group chat that, as a joke, will tell you what time the women's segment comes on in AEW. because it's the same time every week and it doesn't shift very often, and it's the same
Impact, you
amount
don't
of
know.
time, and they don't come back. So it's like, oh, here it comes. Here comes the women. They already know. It's 9:23. So
Yeah.
in Impact, it's just not that way. So yeah, I think that Trinity absolutely had offers, and I think that she went there for a very specific reason to work with some of these people. And I mean, you get to work with these legends. You know what I mean? With the Gail Kims and stuff. I mean, I don't think Gail Kim doesn't wrestle much, but she still could go if she wanted to.
I bet you Gail would go in the ring with Trinity. Bet you
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I would be shocked.
That's the kind of thing.
Yeah, I would be shocked if the first pay-per-view match Trinity gets is a Gail Kim or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if now that she threw out like Awesome Kong's name, I'm like, fuck, I would love for her to come back and do one with fucking Trinity. That would just be so amazing, But I don't know. But one thing I'll say about Scott D'Amore is Scott D'Amore treats all his talent, it seems like, equally, meaning he treats them all as wrestlers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what gender, sexual orientation, whatever, age. They're all wrestlers. And I think that's the key thing. It's not a popularity contest, I mean, shit, because if it were a popularity contest, I really honestly, don't think that, certain people would be kind of prominently seen on the show.
Yeah.
Rhino and Heath Slater.
You don't think
but,
they're popular?
Yep, I'm just saying,
You don't think they're popular? I think they have a good fan base. Do they not?
They have a good fan base, but but that's one that you wouldn't expect. It seems like they have people pretty equally. If they're not there, it's because they were committed to something else, maybe because like Motor City Machine Guns wasn't in Chicago because they were working somewhere else. Just things like that.
Gotcha.
But for the most part, yeah.
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, Impact was a pretty good show, but like a lot of wrestling right now, the stuff I like, I really like, and the stuff that's on the show that I don't like, I find almost embarrassing. And Impact's no different. There was stuff in there where I just felt like some of these talent have been doing this for too long to be this bad at talking, and their shit's too goofy at this level. Like, I think that some acting coaches would be nice. Like, send in Freddie Prinze to work with them for 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, do something cool, like, that helps them come across more believable. Because, the stuff I didn't like, I fucking hated. But then at the same time, almost everyone I could point at, and I don't want to, like, bury anybody, almost everyone I can point at and say, God, that was an embarrassing promo. I could also point at and say, I can't wait to see them wrestle again because their matches are so good and their in-ring storytelling is so good. And they don't just go in there and just do moves. They have psychology. They know how to tell a story in the ropes. But when you tell them to talk you into the story to begin with, fucking forget it.
Okay. So I want to know what you thought about good old Dirty Dango.
I turned the volume down. The fact that he's still doing the shit that I absolutely hated in WWE, I couldn't stand, what do they call them? The Fashion Police? I couldn't stand that. I couldn't stand Tyler Breeze as the selfie king, Prince of Pretty. I didn't like Tyler Breeze at all. I didn't like Fandango. I don't like Dirty Dango. He's doing the same comedy, the same way, the same presentation. And he's just bringing in other people to do it. And I just turned the volume down because it's not my comedy. I don't find it funny. I understand he's a good wrestler. And I've seen him in incredible matches. But him talking is not for me.
Yeah. All I know is I got excited when I say his name, and I'm like, I knew it was coming.
It's ridiculous.
And he appears. There he was. I believe in Joe Hendry.
The fact that Joe Hendry was in that made me like him less. I barely have seen him at all. And he's doing stuff with Dirty Dango. I'm like, forget it. I'm out.
Poor Joe Hendry. Also, he has a TV show coming out. And there was a spot I saw on Twitter that I was excited past Impact, like wrestling, superstar, goddamn Grado. There's another things you probably don't like at all. But I was excited because I'm like, oh my God, is Grado coming back to wrestle? And is he coming back to Impact? Because, yes.
You're a big Grado fan?
Huh?
You're a big Grado fan?
I love him. He's awesome.
When
Love
you go to
him.
San Diego, are you flying or driving?
Flying.
Flying. Okay.
Because now I'm gonna commute again, so I don't want to put
Yeah.
the excess miles on it.
I'm
But I'll
just
be
asking
flying.
because if I want to give you something, I didn't know if it has to go on a plane or if it's just going to go on a car.
Oh
That's
wait!
very
Oh,
right.
well, I'm going on Southwest,
So no
so I
check baggage.
could. Huh?
So no check baggage. Yeah. Well, if you had to, I'm just saying. I'm just.
No, it's because it's
I was just
free.
asking.
That's what I'm
Doesn't-
saying. It's
Oh,
free.
Southwest is free.
Yeah, if I'm going on Southwest, it's
Gresham and Mike Bailey was a good match. I know you don't like Mike Bailey, or I know you don't like Gresham, but you like Mike Bailey.
I love Mike Bailey.
And I know that I've seen John Gresham and Bailey wrestle in GCW, but it's just they just have good matches. They have good chemistry.
It
They
was
work
a
well
good
together.
match. I just also again, it's just so not believable because he's such a small little
He's so
man,
small, but he looks big in the ring. He really
and
does.
he looked. No,
Yes, he does. Because even producer lady was watching it with me, and I was like, "That dude's like 5 foot," and she goes, "No, he's not. Like,
yes,
he's
he
looking
is.
pretty big in there."
Usually,
And I was all
I'm
like, "No,
taller
he's
than him.
tiny." And then she's all like, "But he looks really big." Like she's like, "I could believe in him." She's like, and I was all like, "Not once he gets out of the ring, but in the ring, he has a big presence. He really does. I think that's why it works."
He also looked like he was fucking bored and didn't want to be there.
Well, there's that.
I'm like, that's what happens when you have a piss poor attitude. Oh,
That could happen. That could happen.
at least his old lady can fake it. She
Yeah.
probably does.
But realistically, I mean, the show was fine. I mean, there was decent matches. I like seeing these people do their stuff. Like I said, the acting I think needs some work. They're really pushing Nick Aldis as a big deal, but they're really pushing Trinity as a big deal. And I think
that's amazing. I'm so happy for her.
She's already got a T-shirt out and it looks so cool. The woman who drew it, Lauren Moran, she's an amazing artist. She's also the one, if you remember, there was a couple Brody Lee T-shirts that came out when he passed, and I told you there was only one I really liked, and it was a drawing. She drew that one, the purple one. If you remember when Becky Lynch had her nose broken, there was a bootleg shirt going around with her and a drawing of her smiling with the blood. That was her as well. She's a really, really good artist. And so for Trinity to reach out to her and ask her to help her design this shirt, I thought was amazing. Because then as soon as it dropped, Trinity tagged her and said, "Hey, this is her. Like, this is so good." So yeah, she's been one of my favorite wrestling artists online for long. And she does a lot of other stuff. She does a lot of horror. She does Star Wars. She does a bunch of she's just incredible. And she's always been good to me online. If I've ever asked her about anything, she's answered. So
speaking of Star Wars, May the 4th be with you.
Oh yeah, May 4th be with you. I've got a Yoda tattoo. I thought about posting online today. I just don't. But
a Yoda one or Grogu? It was Yoda.
Oh, no, it's straight up Yoda. Yeah, no, because the picture's from Empire Strikes Back.
Okay. Yeah. That's badass. That's badass.
Oh, it's great. It's
another tattoo series.
It's actually such a good tattoo that from time to time it rotates on Reddit. And my friends will tell me, they're like, "Hey, this is you, right?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, there it is." Like a picture of it rotates online from time to time.
Nice. That's another one. It's Star Wars wrestlers as Star Wars characters.
I'd rather do Muppets as Star Wars characters.
Oh, Muppets Star Wars? Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, those are good.
My wrestlers as Hello Kitty characters, Sanrio characters is cute.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, especially because of the ones I picked. So
yeah.
go
But go to Shop Impact and pick up the new Trinity shirt. Did you want to watch this one show and then we'll call it?
Yeah, I did want to mention because you mentioned Wembley.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. That's the thing. Before you say anything, because I want you to have the time to say what you want to say. All I want to say is it is crazy that there are people fighting back and forth on if their sales were good or bad. And there's people who are like adamantly saying that, oh, it's a failure because they haven't sold out yet. And there's people adamantly saying people want it to fail so bad and why can't you just be happy? Like there's this weird, I think both sides are so extreme where when I heard they sold 35,000 the first day, I was like, oh, dope. Like that's great because that's a good chunk of their pre-sales. You know what I mean? And then they're already breaking 50. My only thought, I don't know why you have to have a discourse sometimes. You hear they're selling out a stadium and they're even half capacity, and you go, that's great. That's fantastic, because they've never been there. This is great. They'll go back. Like, yes, it's healthy for the industry, and yes, it's a show I don't watch, and I don't care about all that much. it's one thing to not care if a company fails, because like in an essence, like, hey, I want everyone to have a job, right? But if I don't watch the product and I don't buy their merch, if it went away, like, right? I want my people to have somewhere to go to work, but at the same time, it's like, go to Impact. I'll watch that. Right? Go to NWA, whatever.
Yeah.
But for people to be like powerfully invested in this discourse back and forth is like, they did a good thing. That's a good thing. Like, what's the fucking deal? But say everything you want to say on about it. I'm gonna grab a new drink.
But that's the IWC though.
Yes.
So, I mean, they're gonna argue about everything. But what I had seen, and there's a couple of statistics that are kind of I want to shoot down, because it's like everyone's like, wow, they made like $6 million. Well, shit, when half the majority of the tickets are, anywhere between, what was it, 15 to 1800 at, British pound sterling, and those are for the expensive ones in like the front row, to like 450 pounds sterling, 400 pounds sterling. They have a lot of ones that are $27. So yeah, that's going to add up after a while, right?
Yeah,
but
WWE does the same thing.
Yeah, they do the same thing too. But no, also the other thing though, I saw a lot of people were upset, and a lot of the European people, like, they'll all go as a group of like friends, and some of these guys roll deep. Like, their group might be 8 people, and people were pissed that they couldn't order 8 tickets; they could only order up to 6.
Oh,
and people were getting mad because it was so hard to get in. Like, I myself was curious, so I tried to get a ticket.
Oh, really?
Just to be curious. I couldn't get a ticket because I was in the queue, got there, but by the time I would put in one, best available, it would say there's some kind of error. Please try again. And I never was able to get one, just to see, because I wanted to see. I was up. Why not? So good for them with it. I feel for the roster, especially people who aren't normally on TV, because you can't have everybody on that show. You can't have like 20 battle royals, that'd be stupid. So it's really going to be a testament to how it plays off. Also, there are a lot of British people and wrestlers from the UK who are not in WWE, who probably, and I'm not talking about one in particular, but I'm just saying in general, are wanting to be on that show too, because Wembley's a big damn deal. I mean, hell, they've had so many like epic things. Like, obviously I'm old, so I'm going to say I remember when they did Live Aid, and it was actually live. Oh yeah. On MTV and all these channels. I remember that. I remember
it was a big damn deal if they were able to get the venue at all, let alone the fact that they're going to be able to sell at least half.
And the thing that people don't understand, the wrestling community, and why they're bickering, these people, and not everybody that's in Europe or even just the UK, I'll just say the UK, not all of them travel to the States, because if you convert those expensive tickets in British pound sterling, by the time you convert it, add all the fees in it, because the fees for one ticket was at least the price of the $400 ticket, the $450 ticket, the second tier. And I'm like, the only people winning here is Ticketmaster, is the only ones winning.
When I was got my NGPW tickets, those were a bitch too. Mine kept erroring out, and I was like, what the fuck are they doing? I'm buying 2 tickets. I'm not Amanda. And then I realized that they put an error. There was an error on the bottom that said something along the lines of, you can't buy tickets with a chair in between, because tickets were sold out on one side, and then there was like 3 on the other side, and I was trying to get the 2 aisle seats, and they were like, oh, you can't have one in the middle. Like, so I could have bought the ones on the inside, I think. I ended up moving it around, and then because it was with the venue direct, it was only $3 service charge. It was great. But I was having a hard time getting my tickets for sure. And they were advertising it was like $25 tickets. $25 tickets were like only the very back row. Like, I had ended up spending $40 a ticket, which is not bad, but I'm nowhere near where I wanted to be. Ringside was $300 a ticket. It's like, fuck, crazy. You know who's got amazing price tickets? Impact. Front row, $75. fucking cool.
I paid $75 for JCW front row when in June.
Oh, yeah?
With the charge, I think it was like 80 something.
Yeah.
Not bad. But I will say, by the way, if you're on Twitter, fans, if you go to my Twitter at Ms. Amanda Jane, I just am a little insulted here. I said, yo, Ref Marsh just single ticket shamed me. He did.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Now you understand my struggle.
Yeah.
Shout out to my friend Dan who said, yeah, now he understands why I complain about it all the time. I'm like, yeah, because sometimes when I go, maybe like my friend doesn't want to sit in the front row or sit like up close and pay that money. You know what I mean? So it's definitely one of those things where, yeah. And then now I've gotten really spoiled because I'm short. Okay. I'm Jonathan Gresham size. Actually, no, I'm taller than him, but I can't see. And I will tell you at Revolution, yes, I paid $400 and some odd for my ticket. No joke. But I couldn't see a lot of the show. I really couldn't. I saw enough of it, but not everything. Yeah. But yes. So I just think that that's going to be a decent show. I personally, my personal feelings about it is I don't like calling it All In. Yeah. Because one, that was not a Tony. The original All In was not a Tony Khan production. Technically, it really wasn't a Ring of Honor production. Okay. Yes, they did. They used their ring and a lot of the employees that work for Ring of Honor. Yeah. That's where they worked at the time. So I don't feel right about it. The name should be different. Just because the original All In meant there was something that was very powerful about that show and being there. And if you weren't there, you could never understand. But if you were there, and I've always, people that I know who went always say the same thing, is there was a certain magic that was in that building.
Yeah.
And I will say this, was no magic in the building at an AEW pay-per-view. I don't know about Wembley. I'm not going because I'm not paying all that money. But I will say that it does, I think that it's pretty All In. The original All In, was something. This one is just this little man who has a problem. Sorry. Is trying to outbeat a big dog. It's a little chihuahua barking at a pit bull.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And it's really sad. And, I don't know. I'm not saying this because I'm not going to be there, but that's what it is. Whereas the original one was, weird people who are pretty much unknown people doing something like that's huge. Is it gonna sell out? What's it gonna do? And it sold out within minutes. And I was very lucky. And I don't know. I just think that it was very special because it was something that had never been done. And everything it was electric in that air. I mean, and there were some not so great matches, but because of the energy and how great it felt, it didn't feel like it.
Someone posted.
It did feel weird with certain things. I will say.
Mysterio match from there.
Huh?
Someone posted today the Mysterio match from that show. It was so cool. I forgot about his.
But you know what? That match, I get pissed, and we all know who to blame for that one being so short. But that match, man, just imagine if they had 5 more minutes.
Oh yeah.
They had to throw everything in that fucking match. But it worked. It worked.
Because those guys are great.
Yeah, they are. But I think that I will watch it. Duh. I hope Tony does something cool. I hope Ring of Honor gets a show that weekend. I'm noticing how a lot of indie promotions are partnering with certain British promotions, to do stuff. And I think it's great. The one, if I were to go, which I'm not, The only one I would go see is I need to see Rev Pro at York Hall. I have to see Rev Pro at York Hall. To me, that's my like holy grail because of British wrestling. Because I watched a lot of Rev Pro, and for a long time, that's where I discovered two of my favorites. So, yeah, that's it. If you are going, have fun. Have a jolly good time, mate. And make sure you get in the merch line really quick. Because if you want a shirt that said I was there, that's going to go fast.
Those are going to go right away. Right away. I'll throw this up just for you, and then we're going to do our watch along, which you have talked about doing. Willis does say, bring Marty Scroll to AEW London, England. Whoop, whoop. If you were going to debut a Scroll, if you were going to go that way, I will say that would be fucking neat. But
I would hang myself, dude, because if I could not be there, and I would sit in the shittiest seat because I would be an emotional wreck. Okay, I would probably have no eyebrows on. I'd be crying. I'd be all. Someone needs to film my reaction to this. I might faint. I don't know. And then I'll have like fucking Bishop talking shit about me, saying it wasn't going to happen. And then when I succumb out of the coma, I'm like, fuck you, because it did. And there's 2 middle fingers. But no, I think it would be, that's the best place to do it. And that would be a big fuck you to everybody. And if people want to say, oh, well, we're going to cancel, AEW, well, then you got to cancel everything else then. Because if you guys really knew how some of these people were in the back, you probably would want to cancel everything. No one's good. No one's bad. Everyone has their good sides and their bad sides, people. Yeah. But if you're like a racist, or if you're, pieces of shit, like a certain person who had penises at All In, that was the weird part. And even back then, I thought that was weird, but teach their own. Yeah. But no, that'd be fantastic. He would deserve that. And I will tell you this, that whoop whoop in that place, I wouldn't even care if it was ill-timed. I would have a pass for that. Everyone would go ape shit. Everybody would. Just think of it. If they had the leaders, oh my God. Okay, anyways, I'm no more talking about this because Willis, you totally derailed the show with that.
All right, you got your ranting. Now we can do our watch along. You did your rant.
Yeah. We're going to do my watch along. So I told you guys last week I had a surprise for you.
What?
So yes, because it's a certain person's favorite wrestler's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Colt Cabana, happy birthday. Again. Okay. And also another one of our favorites, Kevin Owens. They had a match together on the Indies. Pretty much almost right before Kevin Owens was signed, I believe. I believe this is one of the last. But it's very interesting because this match, I'm going to preface this right now. This is your typical shindy. It's in like some basement looking place. That's kind of sketch. But this is the beauty of independent wrestling at its finest, what you're going to see. No production value, so don't expect, some grandiose entrance. I'm setting the expectations for you guys, because if you're thinking it's going to have fucking pyro going off everywhere, you're wrong. You're wrong.
So I've been trying to get this watch along started for over 20 minutes now, Amanda. Let's just do it because the match would have been over already.
Oh, damn. I'm just setting it up for people. Oh, did we provide the link for people?
You have not done anything. I told you 20 minutes ago to tell people we're going to do this watch along.
Oh, yeah. Right.
It's in the comments now.
Watch along, people. Okay.
If you go to, it's Richard Ruiz Productions, Richard Ruiz, RUIZ Productions. That's his YouTube page. He's got the match there. It's Kevin Steen versus Colt Cabana, FSW Wrestling. I have to do this.
Oh, you're taking off the...
I have to because the way they mess with my vision, I can't see the match.
And then you're going to tell me, I bet you money you're going to tell me, oh, no, I got to put it back on this fucking.
At some point, I'll put him back on for sure. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
I have it at 0.0000000.
I have it at 0.000. All right.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Ready? 3.
Oh, wait. Oh, you didn't start it?
No. Where are you at? All right. I pushed play now.
I went back to 0.000.
All right. Well, now I'm at 0.2. Where are you at?
Hold on. Here I am.
Okay. Play. I'm at 10 seconds. Where are you at?
I'm behind you.
Oh my God. Gets it?
Now I'm at 10.
Now you're at 10? All right. Well, I'm pausing. Now I'm at 20. So when you're at 20.
I'm at 17, 18, 19. There you go.
All right.
Colt shaking everybody's hand because there's
Colt
only
shaking
2
hands. I wish he was spit in his hand for each one. Like, hey, man, we're spit brothers now, you know?
He's classy. Why would he do that?
Because it's like a brotherhood thing. People do
He
that.
was so chubby.
Yeah.
No facial hair Colt with those big ass sideburns.
Yeah. I am curious to see this because I do think Colt and they're chanting for him. They love him there. I do think Colt and Steen both are so identifiably indie from a certain point. Dude, what the fuck is Colt's problem? If he was in there whipping me with a towel, I'd be all right, announce yourself, motherfucker, and throw him the mic.
Rude.
Yeah, you want to talk about rude? Oh shit, look at that. Panda Bear Kevin.
The bear enthusiast.
I have the new version they made of that, where it says pandas are awesome and so is Kevin, or Kevin Owens is awesome and so are pandas.
Yeah, he had a whole series of these ones. That's my favorite shirt. I can't find mine. Mine.
Cool.
I wish I could find
Pandas are awesome. That's on record.
Okay, just so you guys know, if you see this is a peach alert. There is no peach. Right there there's nothing. It's a flat wall.
Yeah, Amanda's here for the deep butts.
Yeah. And we keep zooming on Colt's butt, and I'm like, there's nothing there.
Kevin had big arms then too. Look. Oh, is that right before he got signed? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. That's right
9
before he
years
got signed.
ago, 2013. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he probably knew he was going and started working out even more.
Well, even when he was still about this size when he went.
I know, that's what I mean, but his arms are looking pretty good. And I've seen him in past ones where his arms didn't look that good. Because he's always been big, but...
Yeah, this is the Kevin Steen enthusiast. Then he had the panda enthusiast, which it was him looking like the panda, all raged. But I had this one. They're such good friends, even to this day.
Why are they chanting for Punk?
Oh no! Did you listen? He, I guess, had wrestled something the night before, and
that's what he said.
Pile drive Maria.
Yeah.
And then Colt was like, "You're not the only one who pile drive Maria." And that's why they're trying to CM Punk. Mind you, guys, this is back before when Punk and Cabana were friends. I actually called him Punk then.
Huh.
I'm surprised
they're just talking mad shit on it right now. Like, I mean, it's 3.5 minutes in and they haven't even touched. They're just doing improv comedy.
Yeah, this is all the stuff you hate.
Well, I mean, Kevin Owens is really good at it. Colt's just trying to keep up.
Rude. I'm going to tell him. You really need to listen to episode 1.
I do need to give him a pop. However, I did not see him at WrestleCon, so I don't feel like I owe him 2 pops. I didn't see him.
Well, no, because he was in the room with the common people. You were with the VIPs.
Actually, kind of, yeah. It was kind of weird.
I don't know. That's strange. So young and chubby Colt Cabana. That's actually I remember these days he didn't spray tan that Young Bucks orange. He didn't quite have the dad bod yet.
So. That's fun.
I love these two.
Yeah. They're chanting wins a win.
Yep.
Colt's in really good shape there too. His arms and chest look great.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the dad bod. Yeah. He's always had good shoulders and traps, though.
Yeah.
He's always said that. He never would work out his legs. So he has like chicken legs.
Do you think that Colt worked with Kevin Steen, who was so good at this, that he thought he could do it too, and that's why he's been wrestling the way he has forever?
Oh.
What's going on here?
It's so funny because when you look at like,
I wish I had a
Kevin
mod
Owens.
in Twitch. I don't know how to. I can't block this motherfucker. All right. Well, if I have a mod on it, I'll block that guy.
Why are people going on our Twitch and being rude?
They just try to sell stuff to me all the time. It's crazy.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, he's taking his pants off. Kevin Steen taking off his pants. They're just still talking shit. They did one move in a corner one time.
Dude, he's in a singlet.
He's in a singlet.
Have you ever seen Kevin Owens in a singlet?
Oh, we just did a Ric Flair. Ooh, he almost threw his shorts into the audience and then realized he wants to keep his shorts, but he doesn't mind getting rid of the merch shirt.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And I know
what's funny about this, too?
Mm-hmm.
I know that Steen said it didn't. Kevin's talked about it. The whole CM Punk talking about him wearing a shirt and all that, and taking it out of context and all that, right? But there is a truth to the story that Kevin was asked to wrestle in a singlet, and he said it didn't feel comfortable and didn't feel like him, and he was given shit for wearing a t-shirt and shorts by Punk. It's kind of funny that he's here in a match with Colt and putting on the singlet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, he started out, if you look at old Ring of Honor, if I'm not mistaken, he was wearing a singlet. And then all of a sudden he started wearing the shorts and the...
Oh, Colt's got Dusty Rhodes gear on.
Is what?
Dusty Rhodes gear.
Yeah, that's his old Dusty Rhodes gear.
Yeah.
I think you've heard me say it before. He sews his own gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had two different ones that were like Dusty Rhodes inspired.
They did a couple moves and then they talked shit again. Kevin's doing a lot of crowd work.
But isn't it interesting when you watch this, because it's like you don't see Kevin Owens, wrestle like this at all.
It really depends on who he's in the ring with, because we do see him like this sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. But it depends on who he's in there with. Like when he was in there with Daniel Bryan, he was doing shit like this for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Why are they chanting Mr. Wrestling for Kevin Steen?
That was his name. He was Mr. Wrestling.
Which is ironic.
Yeah, it was before like John. Yeah, there were people before Johnny Gargano that,
Yeah.
I miss going to shows like this when you paid like $20.
Yeah.
And it's really small and
like there's a cool side and then there's like a bummer side to it, right? Because the fans there, it's really cool that they get to go back and say, man, I was there and I got to play with Kevin Steen, you know what I mean? And then you see him main event WrestleMania 2 years in a row with some of these iconic matches.
You're like, damn.
But there's also a part of those fans that won't watch him main event WrestleMania because it's not an indie show. And all they just like indie wrestling. You know what I mean? Like part of the joy that you would think they would be in is that they get to see people from here and move all the way up. Like,
yeah. God, Colt does not have a butt.
I can't help but be a bigger fan of Hammerstone because he's from Arizona, and I saw him when he wasn't the first time I saw him, he had just signed with MLW, and so I was like, oh, that's cool. But when I was bumping into him and talking to him, you know, I was like, oh yeah, you had that match with Harry Smith. That was really sick. You know what I mean? Like it was chill, and like as he gets bigger and bigger, it's the kind of thing where you go like, that's amazing. I want to see more of that. But like, you just know a lot of those fans out there that watched him here are like, oh yeah, once he was to WWE, I never watched him again. And you go, what? Like the joy of this is watching them get on bigger platforms and do bigger things.
Yeah. Like, I think that's why for me, with people like a Ricky and like Will Hobbs and stuff, I still get real, and even Jungle Boy to a certain extent, that I get really, really emotional with it, because it's like, I remember seeing these guys when, you know, they weren't really anything. And now it's like, holy crap. Like with Will Hobbs, it was surreal to me that I saw him wrestle at the Cow Palace way back when, and to see him wrestling and winning that stupid gold life preserver, you know, it was emotional for me. And then being in Sacramento and seeing him win the belt was very emotional. And then when I see like Colt and stuff like this, those were good times, man. I went all over the damn U.S. to see Colt Cabana wrestle and these guys. And it's like very bittersweet. Yeah. Even with like Steen, I only saw him wrestle once. That's a shame. Now that I think of it, I only saw him wrestle once. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. Because this was around the time. Yeah, and it wasn't at PWG or anything like that either. I never saw him at PWG. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of talking in this match. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of interesting.
It's like because they're such good friends. They've been, remember, like, Colt's known, you know, Steen and Generico. If you're indie and cool and know who I'm talking about, he's known them since they were like 18, 19 years old. You know, like it always creeps me out. It always weirds me out because I saw a photo recently of Kevin and his family, and his son Owen is so big now. And I remember when he was like maybe 3 or 4 years old. And I'm like, oh my God, he's like a man now, and he's like taller than you. Like, holy crap. Yeah. His names were getting old. Yeah. But you got to admit, though, there is, when you have like people, like if you get to wrestle someone that, you know, you're really good friends with and stuff, and it's something like this that's a small, like whatever, opportunities to have fun, you could do all sorts of stuff. That's why everyone says that in WWE, they like doing the house shows, because they can fuck around, you know? They don't have to, you know, whatever, that you'd see shit like this. And so this is where I kind of like, I like shit like this, because it's like, it's not normal and expected. That's why it shocks me, I guess, when you say that Kevin Owens does this stuff. Like on occasion. Yeah. Man. I just realized that I guess they all tan.
Yeah.
Because Owens is a little, Kevin Steen, Owens is a little pale. A little pale. This actually, I'm looking. Colt's finger taped up? Yes, it is. See Colt's finger and how it's taped up on the right side?
Yeah.
It's his right ring finger.
Yeah.
I believe.
Why was he married for a minute?
He's forever going to be single. Oh no, don't touch him. That's a different podcast. No, he almost lost his finger. He was
Oh.
he had a scab on his finger, and he was on the airplane and he was bored and he started picking it, and apparently it got really infected,
Oh.
and he was wrestling out in LA, and next thing he knew he was like feeling kind of sick, and he ended up going to the hospital, and they checked him in because his finger, it was swollen, it was gross. I mean, he could have died. Like, and they almost had to amputate his finger. It was a big deal. He sold T-shirts that said "Save Colt's Finger." He's such a fucking carny. You gotta love Colt Cabana for that shit.
Yeah,
Help pay some of his medical bills. I thought that was the greatest.
Steen just did Bronco Buster, which is dope.
Mm-hmm.
Or not Bronco Buster, X Factor. I meant.
Mm-hmm.
What's neat here too is that because it's an indie show, there's a very real sense of they don't have commentary. And so Kevin's talking so loud as to have the entire audience in on it.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't need commentary.
Yeah, the both of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because not a lot of indie people don't do that. Yeah. They never have done that. But what I like about these two, and the one match that I know you probably just you wouldn't even watch it because you hate Bryce Remsburg, the Invisible Man and Invisible Stan.
Oh yeah,
from GCW in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they told that story, because it was all vocal, even though they had commentary in the crowd, you can't hear the commentary, but they made it really vocal, and so it was almost like if you were there, you could experience it, and that's why I think things like this are cool. Because the only other person that I've seen do this was actually, it was sad to say this, it was the appearance of Stardong at APW, and Stardong was Cody Rhodes, or actually no, it wasn't Cody Rhodes. It was Cody Rhodes' star gimmick guy, and it was Joey Ryan was that, and I was like, yeah, but it was cool. It told a weird story, but mine went to a commercial.
Wow, they're doing ole ole ole.
Hell. Are we behind you again?
They're playing Sammy's music all the way. Generico, is he coming out? Oh my God, Generico's out there. It's going nuts. Oh my God, Colt Cabana won because of Generico. Kevin goes, what the fuck?
Isn't that great?
So good. Oh, and then Steen's just pissed. He walks to the back.
Yep. Picked up his shorts. Went to the back. Yeah, and this is old school because they're playing the end part of his theme, which if most people listen to the Art of Wrestling, that is like the little intro music.
Oh, is that the Art of Wrestling song?
It's the end of it. That's part of his theme song.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Oops, your jacket.
Oh, then it just promptly ends.
And his headband. There's certain singlets that he won't sell. That he's wearing. He won't sell that one.
That one is one of them?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nope.
That is cool.
And also that ring jacket in particular, that one, he lost that one. And then it was after that one that he started wearing the one he gave me, the black one that was seen in Wrestling Row Diaries 3. And some people, yes, I'm going to say this in the universe. I got a ring jacket from Colt Cabana. Has he given you one? thought not.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Colt Cabana.
And with
So
that,
if you do are a fan of Colt Cabana, I'm going to shill for him.
mhm.
You can buy some wrestling merch at coltmerch.com. You can give him some money on Twitch. I don't know how you do that. You can go raid him. I think he's playing video games now. Usually he does on Thursdays, but I don't know. So, yeah. Or send him an Amazon gift card. And his email's cultwrestling@gmail.com.
No.
And that's for booking inquiries. So if you're in the West Coast, email him. Put him on your show. You'll see me too.
Very good. Very good. But with that,
What do you think?
it's a good match. It's fun. It's interesting because Kevin Steen does so well with trying to engage the crowd in multiple ways. And like I said, they didn't have commentary, and so they weren't going to like literally commentate their own match, but they weren't going to let it be quiet either. Like they were talking through it. So I don't know. It was pretty interesting. It was pretty cool to see the kind of things he did. They had a really safe match. They didn't do anything crazy. It was just a solid wrestling match that was competitive with a little bit of spice in it, a little bit of fun. It was really looked like, let's just go out there and have a good time and make everyone feel like they got their $10 worth. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't feel like let's kill ourselves. Because sometimes you watch these ones and they kill themselves when there's like the same amount of people in there and you go, why? You know? So.
No one's seeing it, you know, and now everybody, it's really weird to see when you see older things like that. Not everyone's sitting there with their phone up or their head down in their phone, too. Yeah. So it's like you're actually watching the wrestling and being entertained. And I think that when I went to Mitzvah Mania, that was that same feeling all over again. It's a small venue. It was a, you know, a school gymnasium. Okay. Yeah. That had, I swear they put something down on top of the floor, like AstroTurf or something. But it was a small gym, and everybody was watching the wrestling. No one was on their phones. I think I was maybe the only asshole because I tweeted a couple of times and took a couple pictures. But other than that, no. I mean, I miss shows like that. That to me, that's independent wrestling. A PWG. That's like the best of the best. That's like Top Gun for indie wrestling. Do I think a lot of these promotions, it's a little much now? Yeah. I miss wrestling in, you know, VFW halls and gyms and things like that. There's something about it that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's when you know you love it.
Yeah.
So is it time for last call?
Yeah. Ready for last call. It was cool because when you first said you wanted to watch a Colt match, and you wanted to do something, the first thing I asked you was, did he ever wrestle Steen? Because I would watch that for sure.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about doing a Generico one too, but because also it's Steen's birthday, I thought, you know what, let's definitely do that. There are a couple of ones that are really great. I mean, there's one that's Colt and Generico versus Steen and Steve Corino. Holy shit. But I mean, I don't know how I would have been able to stream that because it's in the Ring of Honor archives, but I don't think it's on YouTube. And if it was, the quality would be so shitty. So because it's old. But yeah, no, I mean, that's it. So yes, guys, if you thought, oh my God, and then you probably also thought too much. Great. We're going to have to watch fucking Colt Cabana and Marty Scurll. I'm like, you don't need to see that.
I'll watch that eventually, but I don't need to see it right now.
Yeah, you can watch it on the Ring of Honor archives, or if you want to see something really cool, and it was around this time, actually, maybe like 8-9 months later, watch on Rev Pro. I think it might also be on YouTube. I don't know. It used to be Marty Scurll and Colt Cabana. Rev Pro at York Hall. It was for Colt was the champion at the time. So, and it was for the heavyweight championship. Very, very good match. Very good. That one, I was like, oh man, that was for the longest time, the last time the two of them ever wrestled each other. And they're like, They both said, did you see that match? They go, I did. I totally loved it. They go, well, just watch replays because that's the only time you're ever going to see that again.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back next week. I think we're going to have to see what's going on in the last 2 weeks. I'll be out in San Diego, so we'll have to see what we're going to do, what days we will.
Well, I know
First, we're going to get Dynamite, so.
the week you're, I know on the 25th, that Thursday, I'm flying back from New Orleans. So
there'll be some messes.
And I think you're going to LA, right?
Yeah, I'm going to LA for DFW.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yes.
So,
guys, it's not like we don't love you. It's just we've got things to do. And I don't know if Marsh and I don't know. That depends on Marsh. Did we want to pre-tape Thursday and talk about our Dynamite experience?
maybe. We'll have to see what's going on.
Yeah, well, let's see. Who knows? But you might get video footage of something else. We got something cool in LA and we haven't been able to show you guys yet.
Did we?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Josh Barnett. The
yeah, the drinks. Yeah. I thought you meant video footage. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So yeah. So guys, like, subscribe, follow, hit the notifications, all that stuff, so you can see whenever we decide to come back. See what's going on. Next time the bar is open here in the IWC. Best last call.
Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers.
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.